Hi everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I have for you guys a super quick and easy dessert that's perfect year-round, but especially during the summer months. I'll be making my mixed fruit and berry millefeuille with mascarpone whipped cream and raspberry sauce. This is actually one of my personal favorites. I love this dessert. It's elegant, it's simple, it's delicious, and it's perfect for any occasion. We're going to get things started with extra buttery and flaky puff pastry sheets. We'll cut those into little squares, get those in the oven, and then we're gonna make a really light and fluffy mascarpone whipped cream with vanilla bean paste. Add in lots of different fruit. You can use whatever fruit you'd like, and I love to add a little bit of tart and sweet raspberry sauce. It just really brings everything together. You guys are going to love all the flavors, the textures. This dessert is phenomenal. For the full list of ingredients and the written instructions, make sure to head on down into that video description box and follow the link over to my website. I have everything there online for you guys. Meanwhile, let's get started. You'll want to get things started by preheating your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and then line a large baking sheet either with parchment paper or a silicone mat like this one. And what I love about this recipe is you don't actually have to make the dough or mix anything. Just grab a roll of French puff pastry from the freezer aisle at your grocery store and then pop this into the refrigerator for a few days to let the dough thaw out properly. Now we'll get this rolled out. Let's get this gently unrolled, and you'll want to keep this dough in the refrigerator until you're ready to use it. It'll just be easier to handle when it's still cold. And then we'll need to cut and portion this sheet of puff pastry into smaller squares. What I like to do is grab a long knife, and I'm going to score the dough first before I cut it, just to make sure that all the squares are going to be equally sized. And then grab a pastry cutter and cut the dough into squares. I'm going to grab a little offset spatula and then just gently lift the squares off of my work surface. And puff pastry is really rich and buttery, so I usually don't have a problem with it sticking to my work surface. We're gonna transfer it directly onto the baking sheet. Next, grab an egg and drop it into a measuring cup, and then you can grab either a whisk or a fork. Give this a really good mix until the egg is well beaten. And then grab a pastry brush and brush each square with the beaten egg. It's gonna give the pastry that beautiful golden color when it comes out of the oven. Next, grab a fork, pierce the dough on the top. This will keep it nice and level as it bakes. And then sprinkle with some large granulated sugar. All right, this puff pastry is ready to go into the oven. It's going to bake at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 17 minutes. It should be a nice, rich golden brown color in the top. Once it's done, we're just gonna take it out and we'll let the pastry squares cool on a wire rack. Meanwhile, I'm gonna show you how to make that incredible raspberry sauce to go along with the dessert. In a medium-sized saucepan, I'm going to combine 2 cups of raspberries. You can use fresh or frozen, along with a 1/4 cup of sugar. And I'll turn on the heat to medium-high. Once my jam comes up to simmer, I'm just going to turn down the heat a bit and let this cook anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes until some of that liquid is reduced. You want a thicker raspberry sauce. I've set up a fine mesh strainer over a glass bowl, and once my jam is ready, I'm going to pour it in. Just want to use a spatula and press the sauce through the strainer, and you'll want to leave behind the seeds. And the sauce is all done. It's super easy to make. It also stores really well in the refrigerator. I just love this on so many different desserts. You want to let this incredible raspberry sauce cool down completely before you use it on the dessert. Otherwise, if you're using a hot sauce, it can melt the frosting, and that's what we're going to make next. So I have 2 8-ounce packages of mascarpone cheese. I just took this out of the refrigerator. There's no need to really warm it up. If you let it sit at room temperature for too long, it can actually start to separate. So I'm going to scoop it out. I'm going to drop it into my large measuring cup. To the cheese, I'm going to add in a couple teaspoons of vanilla bean paste. You can also use just regular vanilla extract. This is just going to add those little tiny flecks from the vanilla seeds. And a pinch of salt. And 1.5 cups to 2 cups of confectioner's sugar. You can add more depending on how sweet you want your frosting to be. And then I'll give this a mix on low speed just until everything is incorporated. Next, I'll measure out 3 cups of chilled heavy cream. Pour that into our cheese mixture. And then we'll start out on the slow speed and whisk this until stiff peaks form. This frosting is so light and fluffy and creamy, and it actually tastes like vanilla ice cream. It's going to be so great in this meal for dessert. Now, if you're not using the frosting right away, make sure to keep it tucked away in the refrigerator. This kind of mascarpone whipped cream composition does tend to melt pretty quickly. And if it does, just drop it in the fridge, refrigerate for an hour, and then re-whisk again. I am dropping it into a pastry bag. Today I'm using a Teco tip number 847. I'll leave an affiliate link down in the video description box below. You can use any type of cake decorating tip, star tip, round tip, whichever one you have on hand. I'll fill this up. I think I made way too much frosting, but that's okay. I like to have lots of frosting. And now we can start putting our dessert together. So I'm letting my puff pastry cool completely, and I have a little tray of fruit. And today I'm going to be using cherries, nectarines, raspberries, strawberries, and blueberries. Feel free to add whatever fruits you'd like. Blackberries are a great addition, kiwi, peaches, just whatever you have on hand, toss it in here. It's going to be fantastic. And then I tried to pair the puff pastry squares up by size. You can make these either 2 or 3 layered. We're gonna grab our piping bag and we're gonna pipe a generous amount of this frosting right onto the puff pastry. Next, grab some fruit, layer it on top. Drizzle some of that raspberry sauce over the top. And that's it for my newest dessert recipe. This berry and fruit millefeuille recipe is going to be so perfect for summertime. I just love that you don't have to mix any batter or dough. You just unroll it, bake it, fill it, and enjoy. For the full list of ingredients and their written instructions, don't forget to head on down into that video description box and check out the link on my website. I'm going to have everything online there for you guys. All right, let's talk about eating this. So you can either just grab a knife and fork, slice into all the layers, or you can even take it apart and just separately just grab a bite just like that. And these are actually really great if you want to serve them single layer too. They look so pretty. I am in dessert heaven right now. I love all the different flavors here. You get that tartness from the raspberry sauce, so much fruit, that frosting, the puff pastry. I mean, this is beyond amazing. As I'm eating this, I just had the idea this would be so perfect for a brunch party too. Summertime brunch with this on the table. Incredible. You guys are going to love this dessert. That flaky, buttery puff pastry. It's almost like a little tart shell with all that frosting on the top. That mascarpone whipped cream is beyond amazing. Adding that vanilla bean paste is incredible. And then all the fruit on top, the nectarines, the strawberries, the cherries. I mean, this is so good. I can't say enough about this incredible dessert. It is simple enough to enjoy as an everyday treat and elegant enough to serve for a special occasion. You guys are going to be blown away with the incredible flavors. Thank you so much for watching my latest episode. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a big thumbs up and a comment down below. It is a huge help to my videos, and I'll see you next time with a new recipe.